Okay, Carlos. 67. Solo. Solo 67, 68.
68.
Is it 68?
Oh, man, we need a good one for
Numbers
good old
are-
69.
Don't put that kind of pressure on me.
We
What
need
kind
a
of topics
good
did
one
you
for
bring for tonight?
69.
Really? I'm going to let you come up with those topics. I hope you have something because I have plenty to talk about.
Lord, the world is waiting. Go ahead.
I don't think they are.
Go ahead.
You want me to start? You
Go
want me to
for
carry
it.
the whole damn show?
I mean, you usually do.
I don't want to, but I'm here to fill dead space.
It is a burden that you must carry.
No, you can't just be here and be the funny man. You could have ideas too. So Jason, we'll talk about that. Jason,
Fantastic.
put me in a position I wasn't prepared for.
Never seen it before. Was rather fascinated.
Yeah, it kind of exposed me that I have, I'm talking about a topic I haven't investigated deep enough. I was pretty well superficial understanding, just examining and understanding that something's going on.
Yes.
And I didn't have a convincing argument, although I didn't think I needed one.
Until you're challenged. That's the problem with echo chambers and such. Because for the most part, we agree on it. And then the minute someone... and the funny thing is, he agreed with us. He was just...
Oh, we talked for another half hour.
He's so smart.
We talked for another half hour. It was just like, convince me, Nathan.
Yeah.
I want to be
love
convinced.
that. Steel manning.
It was difficult. I was pretty uncomfortable trying to gather my thoughts, although I've collectively been able to ascertain. Is that a good one for you?
I like
It's not my calendar word of the day,
proud
but
of you right now.
instinctively I know it's off. And it's funny that where I got myself, I had a gotcha moment.
Right.
We were talking about feelings and everybody's motivated by the feelings. And I thought, oh shit, so am I. But I realized the difference.
What is it?
It took me a couple days to think about it. The feeling I have is to protect rights.
Okay.
Other people's feelings, you know what I mean, where I'm concerned is when they take rights or when they trample rights.
Yeah.
So it's an instinct. So from that conversation, I've really been digging. By the way, Tim, correct. Whatever his source was about Axon, I thought he was saying Exxon the whole time.
Like the gas
company.
station?
So I started, okay, what is this Axon? I had to look it
I
up.
looked them up too.
Terrifying. Horrifying. And the conspiracy about Axon somehow creating this media campaign to essentially put Flock out of business so they can take that business. I mean, maybe legit, or to misdirect. Like, y'all pay attention to that over here. While we have built 60 million light poles across the U.S., and we have a little photo eye on top that you can just unplug, and now within seconds you can plug in 60 million AI cameras. And then they put the little sensor back on top. So I started looking, every light pole has a sensor. And that sensor is like a photo eye to determine when it's not seeing the UV rays or whatever from the sun. Sure. That's what tells it to come on. That's why our lights come on. So that power source there, they have these cameras. No poles need to be installed because there's 60 million. There's 450 million they've installed across the world. There's 60 million in America. And they have now designed, it's a third-party company that's partnered with them, that's designed these cameras that just literally plug in, clamp on, done. 60 million of these cameras.
I didn't forget it. Well, I think what I took from that, aside from those points, is the research thing. I think a lot of us surface research, and there's entirely too many people on this planet that get their news from Joe Rogan or our podcast or YouTube
now you
or
gotta go dig for
TikTok
yourself.
Or God bless you, nephew. I think good old-fashioned research has completely died. Nobody cracks open a book or does this or that.
I thought about it. People don't care.
Not enough.
People don't care until it affects them.
Right.
Like, for instance, I have a friend that I thought would have really cared about this genuinely. He said, I could care less. I wasn't offended, but I thought, well, I guess it's not for everyone. And then I thought backwards. I thought I didn't care either. When they first started being proposed to me, I didn't care. I only cared when I seen it out in the country and I thought, uh-oh, something's wrong with this. And I felt like it was affecting me and everyone in the country. But then I went deeper with it. And I thought, that's the right. We generally do not care until we think it's affecting us. And I was thinking about this individual working 2 jobs, raising 2 kids, overwhelmed, trying to make sense of the world around him in his own little bubble. Not everybody has the I don't know how to describe it, but I'll just say the interest to go dig deep into, government issues.
No.
And so it requires a handful of people to do their best to dig in, do research, and say, hey, look, guys, I hate to tell you. And this is the scariest part. I wished I'd have never looked, because this week I've been depressed. I don't know. I think it'd be a good habit to look up both sides.
I would, when you're doing your research, do your research for and against. And I'm not speaking directly to you. I mean, in general, because I have found that what you search for, you will find.
Yeah, I'm not trying to develop an argument. I'm just trying to educate myself on the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. It's complicated. It's very, very difficult to get into. I've had a headache all week. But I've thought about it tremendously, and I've been researching. I found a lot of great stuff. And so my instinct, that feeling I had to resist, was there. It was right. I knew just enough to know this doesn't feel right. And now I'm discovering why it doesn't feel right. And you start looking into these companies. And it's so funny to me, because all my life, if you asked anybody, do you trust the government? No. And then I'm thinking, but you're okay with them taking your tax dollars and using them to basically monitor your every movement, And this is the biggest problem. So I think where I come at it from a different angle is my knowledge of the abilities that I can do with AI. Just a hillbilly with a couple laptops and a cell phone, 4 years of just crawling through data and making sense of it. And knowing the technology that exists currently is so terrifying that once you consolidate it and you hand it over to this AI, and they say, the argument is this. There's two arguments that I keep hearing. Number one, you've been surveyed for years. This is nothing new. Okay, you're right. My cell phone.
Very true.
My cell phone, I voluntarily give my data to these companies so they can sell, so I can get creature comforts. And also get some really good ads that cause me to buy things otherwise wouldn't. I would have never found this shirt. So there is some benefits. The difference is that if the government wants to geo-track me, they have to have a reason. So if they want to identify an individual that is suspected of a crime, it is a pain in the ass to go and get a warrant to actually investigate and leverage the data that I'm giving away to these companies. It's very difficult. This is different. And there's another argument. You know what I mean? This surveillance state that we're turning into, this 1984 dystopian future, knowing that the software, think about the name of the cameras, the camera company, Flock, a flock of sheep. How insulting that they're literally calling you all sheep. You know what I mean? And then the software that's being that's being leveraged, the AI software that governments, military, everyone's using, is called Gotham. This dystopian, yes, it's all called Gotham. It aggregates and synthesizes all the data that's being collected by Axon, Flock, anywhere that this data is being collected. It's called Gotham. What a name. It's publicly known as Gotham. Like a dystopian, what? Who is thinking this stuff up?
But the other part of this is the fact that we have no right of privacy in public.
True, but you're right. I agree. The difference is the data that's being collected is knowledge.
Yes.
And they say, oh, well, they delete it after 30 days. And then other city municipalities or whatever you want to call it say, no, 7 days. I say, okay, no problem, 7 days. The stuff doesn't have to be up for 7 minutes. Because and the reason why they don't want to save it is because megabytes from data, from like video surveillance, is very expensive. That's why they're building. That's why they're building data centers the size of Manhattan all over the world. It's very expensive to keep media. Very expensive. They don't have to keep the media. Once the AI sees the media, it can make a full, what would you say, description and be able to describe it in ways that human beings can't. Okay. It can recreate.
So it can render it.
It can render it into a script, into a text document that could easily be recreated. So the problem is not Nathan's Jeep was recorded going down the road. It's the fact that it was documented, distilled down, the exact same thing I do. I take large amounts of data. I have AI distill them down into manageable pieces, and now they're saved forever. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is that when you see technology, like you see these stadiums, have you ever seen these camera systems that are coming into stadiums? You know, remember, you got the zip line camera that can see every angle of the field. It's one camera.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now they're just putting cameras all the way around the field. So AI can, in 3 dimensions, make sense like a 360 camera, right? Your 360 camera can make sense of the world around it.
Yeah.
So that technology fed into an AI brain, you can literally do like a Google Earth move and recreate anything. I don't have the words to describe what I know already exists. And so I'm just imagining this 3D rendering of basically Google Earth of everything you have done, where you're at exactly, and where you're going to go in the future. Once the AI is trained on our data, it doesn't matter that they're saving the video feed. They don't want to keep that. It's too expensive to keep it. Yeah, it has a description. It's self-aware. It's the closest thing to a God we could create because it's omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. Not like the real God, but in compared to our abilities, it's the closest thing to a God. It's all-knowing. It's everywhere at once. And what's the other? It basically knows everything that's going to happen. Based on, they know when we're taking a poop on the accelerometers in our phone, the way we're holding it. The technology in Wi-Fi can determine where you're at in your house, what orientation you're setting. The Wi-Fi signals.
I know they can map your entire house and tell you where you are.
This is technology that exists today. So the fear is not, are they abusing it? Yes, it's being abused. And yes, people are being punished. But the benefits that the police force are arguing for are just short-term gain. Yes, they are saving people. But at what cost in 10 years? When some would we give up? Would we build this technology if we thought there was a possibility that the next administration would abuse it? I don't think we would build it. And that's my fear. Once the data is collected, the knowledge is so powerful that if we decided that our government was, what would you say, tyrannical, right? And our Second Amendment right, affords us the right to have a well-organized militia.
Right.
Good luck. Good luck, because they'll know where you're at before you even know. Like they know the AI will be able to determine who's a risk. That's the fear I'm talking about. So if we in 10 years were basically compromised because we voted in a lunatic, look at New York City. So don't tell me it can't happen. That's my point. Did I articulate myself better this time?
Yeah, that's pretty terrifying.
Thank you. Thank you, Carlos. I'm sorry Jason's not here to shit on it.
Jason, take notes. I know you're watching. We'll have you back.
I'll see him soon.
No, that is absolutely scary. And that predictive technology is even more scary.
It's literally that Tom Cruise movie.
Minority Report. Dude, y'all made me think about that, and I started watching it, but I didn't finish it. And there was a lot of cool stuff in there that we have now.
I've never done this on the show, but you've seen me just leverage the technology.
Yeah.
It warps my brain, understanding. Like it doesn't forget.
Well, it knows everything. Tell you.
It can tell you things about yourself that you didn't even realize, but you agree with wholeheartedly.
How blown away was I with the description that the AI gave me?
From 15, 20 conversations you've been a part of.
Just a small window of my life.
I think I terrified Tim. He did one episode. And off air, I was like, okay, Lucy, tell me everything you know about this guy named Tim that was on the podcast one time. Is that all? That's all I gave. I didn't even give her his last name. And it was giving details about Tim that he may have not realized about himself. Like, holy crap, that's from 1.5 hours of me talking?
Yeah.
And so not only does the AI know everything you're doing online, now we're giving the AI eyes to see every aspect of the world around us in 3 dimensions, every angle possible.
It's absolutely terrifying.
That scares me. That scares me. You know where AI is great? A great example of the use of AI? We say aggregate and synthesize. That's essentially what it does. Okay. It can take a tremendous amount of data, make sense of it, and dumb it down for your dumbass. So when a bill is written and it's trying to get passed through at midnight the night before, you know what I mean? We don't have the capacity. All the humans in the world don't have the capacity to make sense of these bills.
No, you're getting a 1,600-page bill, sure.
But if it was filtered through an AI that represented our Constitution and our Bill of Rights and what our forefathers had placed, and that's how I build AIs to filter through a moral structure before we make a decision. Does it hold true to the values that we have identified as human beings? Does it represent the foundation of the system that we've tried to develop? And if it doesn't, it's out. And so that's a great example of how we can leverage AI for human error to like expose the flaws in these good intentions that people are trying to slip through. And I was just reading through the Bill of Rights and learning about it, that it was designed to protect us from people's fears, feelings, desires. It's designed to say, hold on, let's challenge that.
Man, you're talking about, I don't mean to totally shift, but how we're so controlled by our fears, our feelings, our emotions, our ego. I default to like the people that I'm around a lot on a daily basis. And I realize that most of our problems are managing people, not problems. And depending on how some individuals feel that particular day, depends on how that problem is solved, if it's solved, and how quickly it's solved.
And just think, those same people can become in power and make decisions based on those feelings.
Oh my God.
Like they are, like a lot of times power attracts the worst of the worst.
Absolutely.
Very often we see it. I don't think anybody on here really believes in their government, like to a degree. And I know that people get into government with good intentions.
Sure, but
I know there's good people there. We got a Congressman, Tim, what's his name?
I'm not sure.
Tim something. He's a good old country boy. I like the guy, but he's totally against it. I saw a commissioner in East Tennessee this week saying that, I don't know if I agree with this at all, but I'm just telling you, people are pretty hot and passionate about this. A commissioner in East Tennessee said the CEO of Flock should be hung in the street for treason. I'm like, here's the real problem. The real problem is not what we see happening around us. It's the fact that George Bush, and I want to say that I really liked George Bush. 9/11 like infuriated me. I was in the military at the time. It was terrible. And so many people don't have that point of reference. So many people, even going into politics, don't know what it felt like on that day. They'll never know. And that's okay. They can't know. They didn't experience the loss. But I liked George Bush and I believed in it, but I was naive. I was a kid. I was very naive. And I remember carving a pumpkin of George Bush. I was so damn proud of this pumpkin. Looked just like him too. And so for the longest, it was hard for me to admit that I think he was wrong and he was compromised, or he didn't know, or he was a puppet. I'm not sure.
I don't think presidents have the power we think they do.
No, I don't think they do.
With several exceptions, because there's some that grab the bull by the horn, so to speak.
But he had the right to not allow things. And I think that I think the Patriot Act was the worst thing that ever happened to us.
I think it was pretty bad.
I think the Patriot Act is what needs to be vetoed, because that's when all of this surveillance happened.
Right, but we
good intentions, right? Look how many
power back.
Look at exactly. Look at the Patriot Act, and I'm not that knowledgeable of it, but I know that it was intended to identify terrorist organizations, right? To monitor. What happened? It got abused, and now it's just monitoring everyday civilians. So don't tell me that it's going to be okay, and don't tell me that we can regulate this. It's been proven that it's not. Since then, since the Patriot Act, the CIA started working with Samsung to put fake off switches in televisions. Right, so your audio is still working, so they can survey you even if your television is off. And not only that, this microphone is nothing but a speaker. Just like in the speaker, I can take my speaker and speak into it, and it will generate sound. So yeah, they've proven that they've actually used your television, not just us. I'm sure they were using it for very specific reasons. But the technology terrifies me. Terrifies me.
I mean, if you ever look at, they show all these videos, just because sometimes I like looking at nonsense like everybody else, but anybody in politics, every single one of them has their cameras covered on every single.
Anyone within power, the people that hold the power have every camera and microphone covered with tape.
Yeah.
Because they know things that we don't.
Mm-hmm. And that should say a lot right there. But going back to the presidents, I mean, they're in for a little while, but the powers that be, the people that really wield that power, are 20, 30-year veterans of that position.
Other countries that have compromised these people too often.
All they got to do, I don't know if we had this conversation once and you said it, but, you know, these guys are all long-term plans. Okay, so Nathan gets elected president tomorrow. Okay, I've been here 20 years. I can wait till you're done if I can't get around you.
They'll tell you what they think. I'm seeing people getting busted, like on private in private conversations.
Oh, like hot mics?
Hot
yeah,
mics.
Yeah, yeah.
And saying, look, we're just waiting until he's out. We're holding fast. And when he's
Yeah.
out, we're going right back to old business.
It's
Like they're playing a long game, but I truly believe it's communism. I truly do believe that. It's been trying to take hold since it was started. And I don't want to go down those roads. That's really gets dark. And I mean, I'm like looking at this stuff. I'm like, God bless all these people that seem like lunatics to me. Made me feel like an idiot because 1984. And another thing this is another proof of why I don't trust people. You know, when this movement happened, you know, this MAGA movement or whatever, I saw a lot of conservative people that agreed and fought together and did a lot of cool things together. But the Charlie Kirks of the world just don't exist. Even when Charlie Kirk debated, he did it with such grace and love. Mm-hmm. And I saw him attempt to make connections. He debated based on his faith, and that's what drove his political views. And I see the Tucker Carlsons, the Candace Owens, the Andrew Wilsons, the Tim Pools, people that I really admired at one time because they logically made sense. And the second their party got in power, they started consuming one another. Now it's these ridiculous debates between these. And I realize this because they gained a position of power and they can't lose it. It's so sickening to me how human beings, this is just human nature though.
It is, but it's more than that. This is also their business. This is how they make money. Mm-hmm. This is how they stay relevant.
Yeah.
So they may have started with something that they believed in. They may have started with a real thing. Then it's, how can I be more outrageous than you? How can I be more outrageous than him? How do I get you to keep clicking on me, to keep coming back? And then eventually you get so damn crazy to keep the money and the sponsors and the attention that it's welcome to Tinfoil Hat with Nathan and Carlos.
It makes me sick. I've lost all faith in people that are in seek of influence over others. They terrify me. They terrify me. Good people, good people are so easily compromised once they get a taste of fame and power.
Yeah.
That's why we're never going down that road, Carlos.
We stay Z-list all day, baby.
I want to keep it that way for a reason.
But it is scary. But it's not just power. I mean, social media,
but it's
like all those things.
It's
drive
anything that empowers you.
Affirmation.
Yeah, when you are validation. The validation, that's a form of power. Yeah. Affirmation, validation, the feeling you get by feeling like, oh, I was right there. And I'm just sickened by all of it. And my heart's a little bit broken. My heart's a little bit broken. And just seeing how pathetic human beings can become with just the smallest taste of power. And it breaks my heart. And I'm not giving up, obviously.
We can't give up.
It's got me discouraged. But I've been here so many times. I think, what am I doing?
I think the very dangerous part of this and these topics and these conversations, because they pull you in, and then we've gotten such a great big response over these subjects that we stay hovering it. It stays in the ether. It becomes part of our zeitgeist, right? And then we forget that there's so much good in the world. Like, you've got to dip your foot back in the other side. You can't. The problem with these is we go so far down that rabbit hole that now we're cynical. Everything's a conspiracy. Everybody's out to get us. There's a monster under our bed, around the corner. It doesn't matter. Like, that's why the algorithms matter, because I bet with all this research and all this stuff, that's also what we're getting fed. Like, I saw, don't know if it was the same congressman you brought up, but somebody did like a political ad.
Something.
And we'll look him up, I'm sure, but this guy did a political ad, and his ad was like, vote for me. And then he walked up to a flock camera and shot it with a shotgun on camera. Yeah. And it was absolutely hilarious, but it's in the ether. Mm. So that's what's selling. That's what they're going to show. So that clicked to me the other day, and I started just searching other stuff because I'm like, it's taking over. It knows that this is where I'm interested right now. So it's pulling me down this hole. Same thing with you. Same thing for everybody out there.
I'm actively searching though, but I'm actively searching for the Constitution, Bill of Rights, our forefathers. And I ask myself, would our forefathers agree? Yes or no? And I suspect they would say no, then my hard answer is no. I think they were the most brilliant men.
They would allow that at all. I don't think they'd be for it in the slightest. But I think it's really important to balance all of these things with the lighter side of life.
I know. We'll get back to some lighter stuff. It's
You
just
know?
what I've been focused on lately, and it has been had me down. But I go through these cycles. I didn't like
We
the
all
first.
do.
I
We
generally
all do.
don't share
Yeah.
my thoughts on dysto. I mean, I read a lot of things, and I study human nature and where we're headed, and that's why I read history. And I generally don't feel the need to report on it, but I got caught with my pants down the other day, and I thought if I'm really going to be having, I'm not interested in debates. They don't interest me. I'm not looking for talking points. I won't do that. But I do like having conversations, intellectual conversations that are light and funny. That's fun to me.
These topics are important too. It's just the balance of it. And we're proof just in the last couple of weeks how easily it can go in one direction and stay in that direction.
Yeah. Well,
You know
I
what
told
I mean?
you, if Carlos doesn't have a topic, this is going to be it. So he's got to do his job and bring some damn humor to this thing. But before you get started, can I go turn the AC down? Because it feels like it's
Yeah, do what
hot
you
in
gotta
here.
do.
Is it hot in here to you?
Just because you fellas are so damn good looking. But yeah, I mean,
Hold on, I ain't ready. Let me get
well, I was talking to our producer.
Was it
I was
supposed to
talking
be?
to our producer.
Sorry.
Okay. He's a voice too.
Was he on microphone? Probably not.
He was loud enough.
Okay.
But I mean, Brennan just made our point. You know, he's sitting there listening to our conversation, and normally I always glance over at him because I get a vibe from his reaction, his response, his face, and all that. And Brennan's just sinking in his seat and kind of just doing one
Getting
of these.
depressed.
And then we start talking, and he's like, "Damn, like I'm sitting over here kind of bummed out, man."
I'm bummed.
And it's that. Then
But
we,
you know, I think it's a responsibility. It's not the algorithms that's manipulating me. It's the fact that things are happening, and I believe we have a responsibility to be aware. If you want to be a sheep, be a sheep. I'm just not one.
absolutely. There's a difference though between living in awareness
Yep.
and then
Well, it's taking-
living in a tunnel of just that.
It's such an
And it's hard.
overwhelming amount of data, like what's happening. It's so overwhelming that I'm so proud of the people that's actually doing their due diligence and their civic duty to actually investigate these things and
Yeah.
educate me. And God, they're patriots. I'm so proud of them. At first, I thought the flock camera cutters were patriots. Not so much. It's the people that's out here understanding what's truly happening, and more importantly, why. And I don't want to do what their job. Their job is rough.
Yeah.
I just want to educate myself enough to understand what's happening in the world around me and make decisions when it comes time to vote, and then prepare my kids, and talk to them, and just to try to keep them involved enough and be very cautious where they get their news,
Yeah.
if they get their news at all. So
If they get their news, the problem is you can't trust the real news, so you have to dig and you have to research.
I mean, even the place that I've always gotten my news is compromised.
Well, everything's compromised, but
Broken right now.
you really do have to look at both sides and then follow your gut, use your intelligence,
Okay.
discernment
This
to
is what it
find
is.
somewhere in
This
the
is what it
middle.
is. We were supposed to collapse in 08. Everything would have been fine by now. If we would have collapsed in 08, we would have been right back on track to doing better as a society. It would have hurt. It would have been a short-term pain, but for a long-term gain. And we avoided it. And it's unavoidable. And I'm like, I haven't even scratched the surface of what I'm actually terrified. What I'm actually terrified, this is like the precursor to what I know is inevitably coming. That's what scares me. And I don't want to have that conversation on the show. That'll really depress you. And I think to myself, because I've been thinking about this for a long time with the technology that I've been working in, I think, what am I doing? Does it even matter? All this effort that I've put into workforce development, developing the workforce of the future, I have these moments for years now that I think, am I just fooling myself? Like to think that I'm actually making a difference? I don't think anything as we know it will be around much longer as it is. But then I get to a point that I say, but you're not allowed to give up. You have to remain
Thank you.
optimistic because you can be wrong. And so I have to navigate that uneasy feeling. And then somehow or another, when I go into these classrooms and I see these kids, I think, well, you know what? I'm supposed to be in there teaching very advanced things. Well, they're not ready for it. I opened up a toolbox. One of the instructors was like, just put them on tools, see what they know about tools. I'm like, that's pretty basic. But then as I start going through these toolboxes, I start realizing there's nothing basic about basic tools. It's the foundation of everything. And I realized they don't know anything. They can't tell the difference between a fraction and metric, or imperial and metric. They don't know the difference between 3/8, quarter inch, half inch. They don't know anything. And I realized they've never had the luxuries that I had growing up poor and having a father tell me, go out there and figure it out. And so we start with the very, very basics. Like, what's the greatest tool you have? And they always say a ratchet. I say, no, it's the toolbox. If your tools are not organized, you will be frustrated. It already sucks that you're having to do this work. Now, if your tools are organized, it can make the work a bit better. And if they're not organized, you'll grab the wrong tool, you'll strip something out, you'll cause. So I'm just helping them understand that these tools have a purpose. So we're just going through the basics. And I see them lighten up. I see them like making sense of things where they've been told incorrectly their whole life what this tool is, what this is used for, what is foot pounds, like very basic stuff. They don't have a clue what a foot pound is. And I'm like, oh my God, they're actually learning something here. And now they're going to get an opportunity to apply these things that they're learning. And I just want to make them feel independent and, resourceful enough to make the attempt themselves. And then we'll get into more advanced things. And so I think, well, if nothing else, maybe I'm preparing a small group of kids to be self-reliant if something catastrophic does happen. And I give them examples of why I think this way, why I live this way, why my Jeep is structured in the way it is, why I have a wrench or ratchet or tool or part that will save me if I'm 100 miles into the desert and I ain't going to see anybody in 3 or 4 days. It's because I don't want to die, but I also want to test my skills when things inevitably break. If it can break, it's going to break. And then it's satisfying to know that when I get out there, I'll find a way to get it running. I always do. And I see them light up and I think, okay, this is why I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be sharing 40 years of knowledge that I've gathered. And that's been very rewarding. It's very challenging because not the whole class is not involved the same way. Sometimes I think I'm boring them to death.
No, sir. And everybody learns differently. But
who would have thought I'd be in a classroom, in a high school classrooms, teaching?
Lord, would I pay to see this for one day? I got to be honest. But listen here, Professor.
Okay.
I think that with the knowledge that you have, the knowledge that we all have, and that anything could happen, and tomorrow is not promised to any one of us. I think that I'm going to point at the lighthouse. I'm going to remind you of the wiki, and I'm going to let me go through this, please. I'm going to let you know that whether we have those moments where we feel like nobody's listening, that we haven't helped anybody, what are we doing this for? I have them too. Mm-hmm. I think if we help one person, if we plant one seed, the entire thing is worth it. Even though we may not have a tomorrow, it is our job to deal in hope, to teach as if there's a million more tomorrows. What we're doing, what you're doing every day, what I try to do with folks with sobriety and stuff, is planting trees whose shade we will never get to enjoy. Remember that? When nephew thinks back and he's talking to his kids one day, I hope that he remembers the conversations we've had in here and that helps him with his children. I hope he thinks of the things you've taught him throughout his life. And now you're teaching kids and his kids' kids that you've never touched, right? Yep. Kind of the whole purpose, of building all the AI and giving them all of this. So we have to have people in our lives. This is why community and our tribes are so important, because you might be in this spot today, and it's my job to remind you that you're a wiki.
I know.
And how passionate you are about it and how well you've done. Hell, how much you've helped me in many times. You know, like I've learned so much from you. And sometimes I think you're batshit crazy, but sometimes I'm like, you know, the man's got a point. And let me do this Nathan style, and it'll help me get through it. You know what I mean? There's things that we help from each other, but we've got to set ourselves back. Like we need that person to remind us which way we're going, to reground us and to lift us up out of those dark spots. You know what I mean? Nephew brought something up where he's like, man, I'm being brought down. You know, it's really important to me. who I'm surrounded with, and I've got to intake positivity. I've got to intake something good. That goes back, that affects me almost every day, where I'm around people that are just miserable, unhappy, their lives suck, they have no control, so they overdo it in a work environment, like, because it's the only place that they feel they matter or that they're important. Now, what's my reaction to that? A lot of times it's petty and bitterness, and I'm kind of like, what a miserable human you are. Then there's other times where they're the example of exactly what I don't ever want to become. Some people, you can try to help people, but sometimes those people end up helping you as a lesson of what not to do, what not to be. It's sad, but there's some people that you're not going to be able to bring back from that brink, and you just need to use them as an example.
I agree 100%. And I'm up there keeping that thing lit and polished. I haven't given up.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying you
it
have,
is challenging.
but sometimes we need a reminder.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't lost sight of that.
Yeah.
And it's, as you're learning these things and you learn the brilliance of our history, it's pretty incredible. So I'm discouraged and optimistic at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And I want to discover a way to articulate these ideas and these circumstances without sounding dystopian.
Sure.
And giving up. But it's difficult. You have to talk through it.
But I think you need both sides.
I think
because
you do.
Part of what's changed, and I hate to sound like the old man, like this generation, but part of this weakening, this softening, is that some people took the protecting, the over-parenting, the helicopter parents, I think they were called, way too far. And then we got into safe spaces and this bubble and this, let me protect, this is the great world that we live in.
Can I add to that real second? The second I hear it's for your safety, I pray that everyone says, not for me. That is just a blanket statement that everyone is using to manipulate you. The second I hear it's for your safety, I'm immediately skeptical now. I've learned that.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. I could see that,
We don't need that much safety. We need you want to protect people, encourage them to go to hunter safety course.
Agreed.
Encourage them to buy ammunition and weapons and give them the rights to use it appropriately.
But we also need to understand and teach these kids that there's consequences and that the world isn't like we've given a generation rose-colored glasses in a world that is really dirty and every other color but rosed. You know what I mean? And I read this thing the other day that said, back in the day, your car manual used to teach you how to swap valves and do all this. Now it's literally telling you not to drink the battery fluid. Yeah. Where did we fall off?
It's for your safety. It's for your safety.
It's for your safety.
Don't touch.
We've gotten to this point where we're so over the top, where this common sense stuff, what we would consider common sense, those of us with it, that we have to tell people that a cup of coffee is hot. We have to say that it will burn you.
So this is good point.
Like, come on.
So I believe in natural selection. Jason asked me the other day, would you consider would you be opposed to just legalizing all drugs? And I don't think I gave a good answer, but I was thinking about it today. The answer is 100% yes. And I think it's because of this. And you may think I'm wrong, and that's fine. But I truly believe in natural selection. And if you want to risk your life or the lives of others by participating in a drug that could potentially kill you, scar you, destroy you, I don't think those people, I'm not going to say they don't deserve the right to reproduce, but if natural selection takes them out, good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Good. If you want to do dumb things, what is they saying? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yeah. Quit trying to coddle everyone. I don't think we would have the drug problem we have because I know it's not about safety. I know it's not about safety. I know it because I've seen where the CIA has mass-produced opportunities for people to be addicted to these drugs. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe in our government when it comes to it's for your safety. I think if it was legalized, you wouldn't see any of the problems we have because we could get them. If people wanted them, they could get them responsibly. We don't know where it's coming from China, Mexico. Anyways, I just don't believe in none of that bullshit that our government is trying to tell us it's for your safety. It's not.
I actually agree with you. And
I love
and
natural
I think
selection.
somebody tried it. They legalized everything.
Yep.
I think it's going to be the shell shock that comes with the first round of after you legalize it, because people are inevitably going to go nuts and be like, it's legal, I want to try everything. Yep. So you're going to have a bunch of jackasses that'll overdose and do stuff. I think for the most part, once it's normalized, if this happened in our generation and Brennan was born into a world where all of it's legal, you're totally fine, there's no age limits, there's no nothing, I think he would be less likely to use it.
I agree.
I think what entices the youth and most people that are rebellious or this, that, is the fact that it's illegal, that it's taboo.
Yes, exactly.
That
the second you say you can't do it, they want to do it.
I want to do it twice and take pictures. Like, that's the way that goes.
Yeah, and if you're so miserable that you can't manage your own feelings and you can't self-motivate or exercise or pray or find support, and you just want to be a victim your whole life and you want to take something to numb the pain, go ahead. That's why ecstasy is called Suicide Sunday drugs.
I've literally sat with people and had this conversation, I can recall, where I try to uplift somebody who is down.
You can't help people that don't want help.
Sometimes it works. But
if they want help.
Self-aware, correct, you have to want it yourself. The most self-aware and sad response that I got from this person was, I'm going to be honest with you. I appreciate everything you're saying, and I love you for trying to lift me. The truth of the matter is, no matter what you say, I'm going to find something wrong with it because that's just the mood I'm in.
Yeah.
And that woke me up to, I'll never stop trying very much. Like it takes I've become, and God forgive me for this because I'm trying, I literally pray over it. And it's something I'm struggling with at this moment. There's a point where you become almost apathetic, where you stop empathizing or sympathizing even, and they can tell you whatever they want. And I'm like, I'm kind of over you, because no matter what, you're looking for the downside. You're looking to be unhappy. It's almost as if happiness hurts.
It does for some people.
And there's very few people. This hasn't happened to me a lot, but I've come across this to the point where it's like, I don't care how your weekend was. I don't care to know what's going on, because I know that no matter what I'm going to give you, and I'm still trying to give you something good. I'm trying to force myself to be positive. The only thing that's going to come back is how miserable you are. We've all heard of that person who's like, I have no luck at all. They hit the lottery, but the first thing they bitch about is taxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, forget all the good stuff. What is it? It's not silver linings. I'm looking to see where that dark cloud is.
Yeah.
It's the Eeyore effect.
You can't, I've said it a dozen different ways, and so I won't go too deep into it, but if somebody's not genuinely, it doesn't matter what they say, what are they doing?
Yes.
To make a difference?
100%.
You can't say I need help, and you're not willing to do fundamental things to deserve help, and they will always pull you down before you can ever lift them up. They're a limp body, and they're going to pull you down every single time, and you need to separate yourself from those people. The most loving thing you can do in those situations is say, listen, I can't help you. Until you're truly ready to help yourself, stay the fuck away from me. That's about the most loving thing I think you can do for somebody.
I completely agree. I think there's some people that we have to love from over there.
You've said that before.
But I also think that there's unavoidable circumstances.
If we don't, we enable them, and we allow them to just cycle this negative feedback loop over and over and over, and they don't get anywhere.
So what do I do? What do we do? Okay, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular, disclaimer before, because I'll start getting DMs immediately. The family members that we can't get away from, the coworkers that we have to be in the same room with, we have to be in the same hall with, we share a lunchroom with, we do, people that you cannot, without changing your entire life, avoid. I'm not going to leave my great job that I enjoy because there's 3 people in there that I genuinely think are not good people, but that are toxic. What do you do?
I nip shit in the bud immediately. In these classrooms, if one kid says something, I say, oh, you're the one that's going to come up here and teach this class. Or if they're not really motivated to be a part of it, I tell them that we have a janitorial services. A janitorial services program that we're going to put them in. So grab a broom and go over there and stop being a distraction.
Okay, but
now that's the schools. But the same thing
school.
applies.
You're in a position of
if you have a complaint,
power.
you want to come over here and complain. If you don't follow up with a solution, I don't want to hear it. You can take that shit over there. You're not going to come over here and piss on my parade. You're not going to come over here and take the wind out of my sail.
I'm with
you. Go over there.
But,
you're not permitted to be in my circle of influence.
But when you cannot get rid of that person, now circle of influence is different. I'm with you. I choose
even
my
your work
circle
of influence is important.
But no, at
you're
work,
telling me you don't have the capacity to tell people to piss off?
What if it's your supervisor? What if it's a
Same
manager?
thing applies for them.
What if it is a peer? I can't do that there.
If you don't have anything constructive to say, I would prefer you just take it over there. It's simple.
It's pretty hard
call
to
them
do.
out.
Yeah.
I like to be very harsh in those moments without being cruel, but I don't mind being harsh. I like saying the right thing, even if it hurts their feelings. It's the right thing. And I'm like, I love just calling it out. Like, do you have to be so negative? Do you feel that your negativity is being productive in any way? And you can say that to anybody.
See, I like that. That is helpful.
Yeah, it's just
like,
ask
that's
questions.
something
Rather,
that I could,
and the best thing you can do is ask a question more than making a statement. You know what I mean? If somebody's disrespectful, you know what I mean? Just ask them. To make you feel better? Do you feel better by being condescending
or
patronizing?
Yeah.
Do you feel that's productive? Do you think the company's going to benefit with that attitude?
Yeah.
Just ask them a question that they have to set.
How much money did we just make on your 30-minute diatribe? Like things like it can come off real combative, and it just makes your work so much harder. I think when your money and your job depends on a unit, right? Yep. But you don't have the choice of choosing who's in that unit or not.
Don't forget, I work in the real world too.
You know, but you also have
harsh.
You have a shrug and an I don't give a that a lot of people don't.
Very well.
I think my struggle is I'm trying to get the job done. Like, I don't care about your complaint. What's the problem? Here's the fix. Let's move on. I don't need 20 minutes of why it's a problem. When we've identified it, we know that there's a solution, but you want to keep it going.
Because people like to waste time. They really, really do.
But I also think it's
people
a
don't really want to
self-importance thing. I think
it's what I'm talking about.
Like,
same thing.
Like I mentioned this earlier. There's people whose outside life is so miserable and they have no control that they have to go above and beyond to show that they're in charge in the only place that they are. And all they do is make everybody else miserable. It's very difficult.
I know what you're talking about.
You know,
and I don't know how to. I don't know. I can explain it to you, but I heard. I don't know how to understand it for you.
Yeah. No. I can't understand it. Like,
but it's
for
through
me,
practice.
In an ideal world, I would be in a position where I could make managerial choices, and I would surgically remove the cancers, and then
they're always going to exist, though.
They're always going to exist, but there's bigger tumors than others. Mm-hmm. There's some that are benign. There's some there are tumors that you can remove that the body as a whole will heal better and move forward. Then there's some that you can manage and this and that. I would be in there with a scalpel, and let me tell you, there are 3 big slices I would make.
Someone's going to fill their spot, though. Until you develop the ability to communicate, and I'm not saying rolling your eyes. Rolling your eyes and sighing are the fundamental way of dismissing somebody, and you're doing a massive dismissal. It's very patronizing to do that. What's more important, and I don't allow anybody to roll their eyes at me. I was like, did you just roll your eyes at me?
Oh, yeah.
And I'll kind of laugh about it, and like, was that really necessary? Like, come on, you got something bothering you. Why don't you go ahead and communicate that? Use the best tool you have besides your brain to use this to communicate your unsatisfaction. Go ahead and tell me. Yeah. But here's the reality. Nobody does that to me. Nobody, because I nip those things in the bud so fast. They don't want to feel that uncomfortable moment of being challenged. So if you can challenge them intelligently, that lifts them up rather than tears them down, because a sigh and that tears people down. But if you can say, if you can communicate, was that productive in any way? Like all you
Honestly,
gave me was
this is gold.
all you gave me was complaints. I mean, you're here to solve problems. Every one of us here are here to not just perform a task, but to solve problems, not just identify them. It's fine. We need to identify problems, but if you're not bringing solutions, you should probably just keep that to yourself because you're not a benefit to this team.
Yeah.
Simple.
I actually really like that approach, and I need to be better about that. I think I can articulate that better, especially in my situations. I get so frustrated.
It's hard to do that.
Yeah. Or
bold.
Sometimes it's easier to do things myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
you're going
then
to keep
you
dealing
burn
with
yourself out and you keep dealing with it.
If you,
and all
I mean,
that.
this is if you go to the next job, you're going to have the same problem too. You can kind of practice communicating these things, and it's an art. It's really an art.
But I think it's also fair to say that sometimes you have to cut out a cancer.
Absolutely.
Like if the body's going to survive or excel or do better, sometimes you got to cut out those. If there's a track record, a proven track record of,
are you in a position to cut it out?
And unfortunately, I'm not.
So you're going to have to learn to navigate it.
Yeah.
It frustrates you. It actually, I see it a lot in you. Like it's very frustrating for you, and it's affecting your life.
Oh, well, it is, because I'm one of those people where I don't want to ruminate on it. Like if it's at work, I have so much to do, and my job is putting out fires all day. That's, part of what I do. We're going to have problems the next day. That's what we get paid for. Like I go to work expecting the worst case scenario. And then when it's not, when the fires are small dumpster fires and not the Chicago burning, then I'm like, hey, it was a pretty good day and I earned my keep. But there are some people that make a fire bigger so that they can go to the bosses and say, this is why you need me here.
Well, it's also the way they were taught too. Their influence probably
Agreed.
shaped them in that way. So they've never had a lighthouse in their life, and somebody to set them down off the record, maybe pull them aside after a meeting and just, even if it's your boss, there's nothing wrong with having a conversation with your boss and expressing how that was anti-productive. There's nothing wrong with it. They ain't going to fire you over it.
That's
really hard to get fired these days.
I honestly, yes, it is. It's absolutely incredible. I've seen really good people that deserve a little more grace, that I think have good potential, be driven away because people that have absolutely earned it time and time again, or have driven away good people, get given the chances because they carry a bigger workload, and it's unfair to the rest of the body.
But if you think, and as you're saying that, I'm thinking through it again. I'm thinking, they've never been taught the reward that comes from solving something complex and difficult. And you can communicate like problems. Like if there were no problems, none of us would have a job. Like
Absolutely.
You should be grateful for these
100%.
problems. And here's the beauty of it.
It's how we make
If you
money.
can start to think about how we can solve these problems, it is so satisfying and rewarding. And I'm telling you, if you'll shift your mindset that if you have a problem you want to discuss, that's fine. We have to identify problems. We have to be honest with ourselves. But if you're not investing the effort to develop a solution, you're best just staying over there. We don't really need your input if you're not really wanting to participate in a solution. And if you can explain to them and find a way to inspire them to want to be a part of that solution, some people don't know how to think that way. A lot of people don't know how to think that way.
Yeah.
They feel like their value is in bitching. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know so much if that's where they find their value, or where they feel intelligent, or they feel like, I don't know. Condescension, I think, is one of the weakest forms of communication.
I agree,
I
but
think
it makes them feel validated. It makes them feel like they're part of it. I realized a long time ago, people want to feel something. It doesn't matter what that something is. It doesn't matter if it's a good feeling or a negative feeling.
Yeah.
The fact that they feel something is something to get them up in the morning. I don't understand it because I've never been that way.
Yeah.
But I've felt sad, and sometimes it feels good to feel sad, and I'll prolong that sadness by listening to sad music, right? I'll kind of embrace that feeling because I'm feeling like, I'm going through some shit or whatever. I guess some people can get trapped in that.
I can't do that.
I can't do it for a long term, but we've all listened to sad music.
Like where,
we've all felt sorry for ourselves.
Of course. I just can't sit in a pity party, man.
Well, it's anti-productive, so we have the ability to pull ourselves out of it. Some people were never taught how to do that. Some people are never taught how to observe life in that way.
But I guess that's when you hear like women will say, sometimes I just need a good cry.
I guess so.
And
yeah.
it helps them.
You express those feelings.
And I'm not making fun of it at all.
Some of us have the problem
I get it.
of never expressing those feelings.
And they bottle up and
never
have a heart
feeling
attack.
those. Yeah, exactly. And it comes out in other ways. It's going to come out one way or another. And a lot of these things that you're experiencing are probably from their home life, the way they was raised,
100%.
abuse, a million things.
And I try to remind myself, as someone who has been given second chances and been given a lot more grace than I believe I deserved. And I'm very grateful to it, because I've come out on the other end a much better person. Still a long way to go, but way better than where I was. Yeah. And I try to remind myself of the fact that I've got a community and a tribe that loves me, that's behind me, that supports me. On Mondays, which most people hate, I get to come and sit with you guys. I get to share with you guys. We get all this feedback. I look forward to that. Even on days where I've shared it here where I don't want to, but I always feel lighter and better leaving. You know, I laugh, and I've got some very close people that I'm almost like, hey, why am I so much more sensitive with you than I am, or about you? Like, because their opinion holds a little more weight or something like that. And I was like, you know, I went to therapy, and I didn't go to therapy to cry at Hallmark commercials or this, that, or the other, but there's certain things that hit you a little differently. But anyway, I try to remind myself, I'm like, I have this. I have beautiful people and experiences and outlets. And I said, there's some people that would rather stay at work because their life sucks, or they can't wait to come in because it's the only place they feel they matter. And I try to keep that in mind before responding. It's very hard.
Based on, you know, and we can close with this because I know it's about time, but I don't think it's going to get any better. I think we have to identify the ability in us to communicate through that and try to be a light in their life, even when they, whether they deserve it or not. If it can improve your quality of life, you know what I mean? And then just be like, look, this is where I stand. If you can't be proactive and productive, I really would rather just step out when you're in these rooms. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a part of your meetings.
Yeah, because there's
or
moments.
Just put in some headphones and ignore them.
I mean, I wear headphones a lot. But like Brennan mentioned, do you know why? Because what I'm doing is feeding good into my head all day. I will put on this morning. I played this weekend's. You know, I was away. I was out of town, so I played Sunday's service, and then I let that roll into 3 or 4 other services, because there was somebody who's combative that was just going at it, trying to, and I'm like, why am I letting this person suck the light out of me? So, but I know that it's hard to escape it. So guess what I was doing? I was turning on every light that I could inside. And how do you do that? By consciously choosing to listen to certain things or people. And that's what I encourage you to do, nephew, as you've already alluded to. Like, he's got to pump that positive. I'm that person. I need to do that. I want to pour into other people, but I got to pour light back into myself, right? And there's, whether we want to admit it or not, there are people that will suck the life out of you, you know, like toxic vampires. We can fight it by pumping that positive in. So I encourage you. I will always try to help and encourage, regardless of how I feel about you. There's very few people I dislike in this world. You know, if I get to that point with you, man, there's something there, because I'm one of those people where I'm like, if I don't like you, there's a real freaking problem.
It's funny to me because I'm listening
and I hate to even say it like that.
I see how positive you are, and the amount of positive information you take in. Like, it's working for you right now in this season or phase of your life. Yeah. And I was thinking, what do? I don't actively look for like motivation or anything like that. There's a great, this is one of the best. Have you ever seen I've never seen the movie Bronson, Charles Bronson, where Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Did you see
it's
that?
Not Charles Bronson. That was
it's
something
no, Bronson.
Is Charles Bronson.
He's like
not like
English prisoner.
Not the 80s action guy, the bald fighter guy.
I haven't seen it. I want to watch it. There's a great, I posted it a long time ago. Tom Hardy's given this like interview, and he, and I'll botch it, I'm sure, But he comes home and he answers the phone, and it's Bronson, I guess, calling from prison. I got you, mate. I wished I could do the accent because it was great.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, man, I've been trying to call you. How you doing? He goes, man, I'm okay. I'm going through some stuff. I'm kind of down. Got a relationship that ain't working out. You know, I'm kind of down because of that. And he goes, Tom, do you remember the floods, Tom? He's like, you know, the floods where that boy drowned, Tom? He kept repeating his name. He's like, yeah, I remember the floods. The boy got his foot caught in the grate, and the water was rising and kept rising, and he eventually drowned. And he goes, Tom, that wouldn't happen to me. You know why, Tom? Because I'd have said, cut it off. He said, what I'm trying to tell you, Tom, is that
This accent
sometimes I can't do it. It was a good accent.
No
sometimes
kidding.
you got to cut off a piece of you.
Yes.
In order to move on, to grow, to thrive. And
Which is very hard.
So that's where I thrive. SLB represents that mindset.
Yeah.
And I cut it off.
Now, I think there are keystone people in our lives that is incredibly difficult to do.
I would cut him off
Oof.
in 2 seconds. I would. The faster I cut him off, the faster he's going to grow, and the faster he comes back and says, Brennan, would I not?
See, but that's not.
Bro, I love you.
Did you see that?
You guys are my pride and joy.
He just changed it to, if you love it, let it go.
That's right.
You
That's
know
what
I'm
I do.
saying?
That's what I'm doing.
But most people that love it and let it go into the prodigal son thing, where they're hoping that there is a change, there is a shift, and they come back.
It's none of my business. I just know the difference between right and wrong, and out of love, I will always do the right thing for everyone, whether I love you or not, but out of love for myself,
Sure.
I will cut it off. I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I don't give myself a choice.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I've taken a lot from today. This has helped me incredibly. I know we started a little dark and it got into
I think
some
we
places,
ended a little dark,
but I don't think so.
Cut it off.
I think it's healthy. You know, you say cut it off, and I say not everyone
Cut
deserves.
it off means let it go.
Not everyone deserves access to you all the time. Not everyone deserves those explanations, that time or attention. People will teach you how to treat them, right? And sometimes it's much easier with some than others. But yeah, you're right. You do have to distance yourself. You do have to remove that.
The only thing I try to do is, in that situation, I think my responsibility is to communicate why it's ending. And I can simply say, nope, we don't agree. I love you enough to let you go. That's cutting it off for me. You know, this is not healthy for me. I don't think it's healthy for you. So therefore, I don't want to participate anymore. So good luck with that.
Yeah.
You need me?
And this
I'll
has
be over
made me
there.
really check myself, because I have moments where they can draw me into, I know we got to cut it off, but it's like, I just like a light bulb went off and I'm in therapy mode. Like they can drag you down to their level of petty, their level of insecurity,
always drag you down.
their level of immaturity. Yeah. And number one, I'm better than that. So I should be trying to either rise above it or lift them up to that. But if I can't lift them up to it, I need to rise above it and away from them. And I can be passive aggressive and petty and all that nonsense.
That's the worst thing.
And that's nonsense.
That's going to be anti-productive.
Bitch behavior.
Yeah, it's anti-productive.
Yeah.
It actually is going to hurt
especially for a
your
man.
mission.
That's some low test shit.
Yeah. I mean, look, we've all done it, but you start to realize it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it only it exacerbates the problem. But if you can just look at somebody in the eye and say, we don't agree. You know, we don't agree. Whatever the circumstance is, communicate my position and say, so if that's the way you want to continue, I respect your choice. Good luck with that. But like you say, you can love them from over there or over there, whatever. Yeah. It's the same principle. But I do my best to state my claim, what my position is, and then I want to wish you the best.
Yeah,
done.
100%.
SLB.
100%.
And I would do it. I have to do it to my sons. You ever heard the word unconditional love, right? We've all heard that phrase.
Sure.
There are many conditions that you must meet for me to love you. Any girlfriend, wife, mother, father, whatever. The only thing I believe you can have unconditional love for is your offspring. I truly believe that. There are no conditions that Brennan could make mistakes in that I would not love him. But out of love, I will cut it off. I'm hard on them. It's out of love. And because of that, we don't really have any problems whatsoever. I used to say, I don't have to whip my kids because they know I will. That's the only reason I didn't have to whip them. You know what I mean? They knew I wasn't playing, you know, and I think the secret is to be consistent. And that's where it's the hardest thing in the world is to be consistent. Like, I'm having a good day, somebody's misbehaving. I don't really want to deal with that right now. Well, if you try to raise a horse that way, you're going to get kicked in the damn face. If you try to raise a dog, if you only do something because you feel like it, you're never going to have a dog that doesn't piss in the floor every damn time. You have to be consistent.
There's no
you
results.
raise kids,
Sure.
and you interact with people the same way. You have to be consistent whether you want to or not. That's love.
Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah.
Not only
100%.
love for them, but love for yourself and love for the environment you surround yourself in.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. This has been great for me. I needed this.
We didn't even know what the hell we was going to talk about.
As you guys see, sometimes these are therapy sessions for us, and we hope you get something out of it.
You can leave some money in the jar on the way out the door.
Yeah. Hey, sir, for the poor. Cling.
I ain't got nothing else. Brennan, you got anything? Nope. He has plenty to say. I'm sure he just keeps it to himself. Thank you so much for being here tonight
Appreciate
to do this
you.
for us. I would like to say that I didn't think I was ever going to see Brennan again. That's another podcast. I almost brought it up tonight, but we'll save that for another show or maybe after the show. Get anything?
Be encouraged. Encourage others.
I love it. Until next time, so long, friends.
Later.